thank you everybody for being here tonight. We're going to go ahead and start with an invocation by Deacon Tim O'Callahan from St. Andrew's Catholic Church, and he will be followed by Lori Larson singing the national anthem for us.
If you'd please stand and bow your heads and pray with me. Gracious and loving God, first we say thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself, for the measure of health we need to fulfill our calling for sustenance and friendship. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work, for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities to our community. Thanks as well for the freedom to embrace you or the freedom to reject you. Thank you for loving us even so from your boundless and gracious nature. Bless this gathering for the Boulder City State of the city and those who lead it unselfishly for the common good, and to bestow blessings upon the city council, administration, staff, and especially those who protect and serve. It is in your most blessed name we pray. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Deacon O'Callahan and Lori, for the prayer and the national anthem. We're pleased to have several notable members of our community and region here tonight, and I apologize in advance that I can't see very well with these lights shining in my face. But so if I call somebody that's not here and don't know that, it's because I can't see. But let me just introduce some of these dignitaries to you. And if you'd hold your applause till the end, we'll just ask you to stand up, and then at the end we'll recognize all of you at once. Senator and Dr. Joe Hardy. Representing U.S. Senator Harry Reid Aga Pinkerton. Representing U.S. Congressman Joe Heck is Umram O. Sambela. Clark County Commissioner Mary Beth Scow. Mayor John Lee of North Las Vegas, I didn't see him. Councilwoman Deborah March of Henderson, also didn't see her. Regent Dr. Andrea Anderson. Municipal Court Judge Victor L. Miller. There he is. Former Clark County Commissioner Bruce Woodbury. Hi, Dad. I don't believe Tina Quigley, General Manager of the RTC, is here. She had sick kids, but she conveyed the message she couldn't be here. LVCVA Legal Counsel Luke Pushning. Nellis Air Force Base, Public Affairs, Raquel Sanchez, and Senior Airman Timothy Young. Over there. Former Mayor Bob Ferraro. Former Mayor Eric Lundgaard. I know he's here. Former Councilman Mike Piscini. President of Veterans in Politics, Steve Sanson. I didn't see Steve either.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Boulder City Chamber Executive Director Jill Leggett. And Amy Wagner, Boulder City High School Principal. Also didn't see Amy. She's back there somewhere. All right, and then several advisory committee members and commissioners. Kurt Goodfellow from the Airport Advisory Committee. Mike Pontius, Allotment Committee. Richard Hunt, Civil Service Commission. Christina Frausto, Historic Preservation Committee. Chuck Pickens, Park and Recreation Commission. Jim Gianosa, Planning Commission. Koki Booth, Planning Commission. Fritz McDonald, Planning Commission. Glenn Levitt, Planning Commission. And Christy Springate Hill, Parks and Rec Department. Can you join me in giving these folks a round of applause? We really appreciate their fine service to our city. Well, good evening, council members and city staff, invited guests, and fellow residents of Boulder City. Welcome to the 2016 State of the City Address. As I approach my first State of the City as Boulder City's new mayor, I feel a bit like Liz Taylor's 8th husband must have felt on his wedding night. I know what I'm supposed to do, and I think I know how to do it, but I'm just not quite sure that I'm going to be terribly interesting for you. But I'm going to do my best. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the dedicated people who serve with me on the City Council. I won't bore you with their extensive resumes. You can see those for yourself over here on the video screen. But I do want to introduce each one of them to you. First, Councilwoman Peggy Levitt. Thank you, Peggy. Peggy has been an advocate for the Senior Center for a long time, and we really appreciate her service in many different capacities. Councilman Duncan McCoy. Thank you, Duncan. Duncan's our water expert on the Water Authority. Councilmember Rich Schumann. You can see Rich has a lot of jobs, and that just means that he's a new councilman, so that's what happens. Councilmember Cam Walker. Cam's on the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, as well as our Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you, Cam. And then there's me. Once in a while in my free time, I do a thing or two as well. So I would like to thank my fellow council members for their dedication and continued commitment to our community. I would also like to acknowledge our former mayor, Roger Tobler, who left office in June after serving Boulder City for 12 years. And finally, I want to recognize and thank our family members for their support. So with that, let's get on with the presentation. I asked Mayor Tobler what I should speak about, and he just smiled and said, "Oh, about 20 minutes max." Sorry, folks, but that's just not going to happen. In fact, fasten your seatbelts, since we got a long road ahead of us tonight. And So speaking of long roads, 2015 was a historic year for the city as we witnessed the groundbreaking of Interstate 11 in April. I-11 will connect Las Vegas and Phoenix, the only two cities in the nation with populations over 1 million not linked by an interstate. It will also reduce the heavy truck traffic running through the center of our community, providing congestion relief, improving safety, and creating better travel opportunities for residents and visitors seeking to access our downtown businesses. Rumor has it that I-11 will also feature lightning-fast internet speeds and a 4D pressure-sensitive touchscreen. Oh wait, that's the iPhone 11. Never mind. As you've undoubtedly noticed, the I-11 contractors are busy moving mountains, and the project is on schedule to be completed in 2018. I want to thank those who are instrumental in converting this project from an idea into a reality. Former Mayor Roger Tobler always championed this project during his 12 years on council. Senator Joe Hardy has been and continues to be a significant proponent of I-11, and the Regional Transportation Commission led the way to help secure the final funding necessary to ensure that this important road gets built. Thank you, RTC, Las Vegas Paving, NDOT, Fisher Sand and Gravel, and our own Public Works Department for working cooperatively to make this project a success. We'd like to recognize the representatives, any of those representatives that are here tonight, including our own Public Works Director, Scott Hansen, and Dr. Hardy. Please stand so we can give you the recognition you deserve on that. Thank you. Mayor Tobler couldn't be here tonight. He had other obligations out of town, but we want to recognize him as well. He really did a fine job in making sure this happened. The grand opening of the El Dorado Valley Public Safety Training Facility took place in May. This culminated a 5-year grant-funded collaborative project between Boulder City and Henderson to develop a first-class public safety training facility. We are now home to a remarkable resource for the public safety community, including law enforcement, EMS, and fire agencies throughout southern Nevada. Animal control saw a supervisory change in 2015, resulting in newfound community support, both in the number of volunteers and animal adoptions. For the first time, Animal Control has a Facebook page which assists pet owners trying to locate lost animals and facilitates adoption of animals who need a home. Since April, when Ann Intimnet was appointed to the new animal control supervisor, at least 139 animals have been reunited with their families, and another 95 had been adopted as of year-end. Ann was deservingly chosen as the city's 2015 Employee of the Year. And Ann, I know you're here. I don't know exactly where you are, but would you stand so we can recognize you? Thank you. I think she's back there. Thank you. She really deserves a lot of credit, and we appreciate you and your accomplishments and your dedication and commitment to the animals of Boulder City. The Police Explorers program continues to prepare 14 to 20-year-olds interested in a law enforcement career. The police department sponsored Explorer Post 198 at the annual Explorer competition in Chandler, Arizona. 5 members from our post teamed up with 5 members of Henderson's Post 920 to participate. The team represented our communities well, winning enough events to be invited to the national competition this coming July. Among the team's awards was the prestigious Spirit Award, a trophy recognizing their dedication and sportsmanship during the competition. Last but not least, the police department recently conducted its first Citizens Academy in 8 years, further solidifying our commitment to community policing. 16 citizen graduates now have a better understanding of police work and what officers encounter on a routine basis. And I believe we have a few police officers here tonight. If you'd stand and be recognized, we appreciate that. Thank you. I also just wanted to recognize Chief Conger, who recently left us. What a fine gentleman he was during his service, and he came out of retirement to help us out, and we just really enjoyed our association with him, and so extend the best wishes to him going forward and thank him for his service over these last 3 years. In September, our municipal court conducted its first graduation for the new Breaking the Cycle Drug Court program. This program was established in 2014 with the help of a generous donation from Boulder City Sunrise Rotary and is based on a national model with a 75% success rate. Judge Victor Miller recognized the need for a drug court because many crimes in Boulder City are linked to substance abuse, and most offenders don't have the resources to participate in inpatient programs or counseling. Sunrise Rotary recently donated an additional $50,000 to the program, which will be used for services such as counseling, alcohol and drug monitoring devices, employment preparation, and program incentives. So if the judge and any court or Sunrise Rotary representatives are here tonight, please stand so we can recognize you for making a positive difference in the community and giving people caught in this ugly cycle of crime and drugs a real opportunity to break this habit and turn their lives around. Please stand. Thank you. I know Doug Shetman's here. I think I saw Dr. Bob earlier as well. This was really a passionate program that they took on this past year and a half, I believe, and it's just a fantastic thing to see as it progresses. 2015 was another great year for the Parks and Rec Department, which won the 2015 Tyler Excellence Award for implementation of a web-based registration program. Citizens will now have the opportunity to do more online, such as register for sports programs and classes and reserve parks and recreation facilities. Early in 2015, Boulder Creek's head golf professional Andy Shaper was named PGA Southern Nevada Golf Pro of the Year. During his tenure, Andy has helped establish a successful recreation program for juniors and a PGA Junior Golf League. And just last week, Andy was recognized again, receiving the Southwest PGA Youth Player Development Award. We are fortunate to have such a dedicated professional helping us build a firm foundation for future golfers. Classes and activities offered by the Parks and Rec Department continue to grow with an 18% increase in revenue between 2014 and 2015. In all, over 1,500 youth and adults participated in Rec Department sports and special interest programs last year. The Parks and Rec Department also facilitated approximately 125 major special events, film shoots, and facility rentals this past year. The El Dorado Valley Dry Lake Bed and Bootleg Canyon Park have become popular venues for filming, generating approximately $6,500 per month for the city. Some of the filming included shoots for the Nevada Tourism Office, Pawn Stars, and Penn and Teller, a music video for Florida Georgia Line, taping of MTV's Real World and Vegas 9/11, and a few BBC productions. I think this is where I'm supposed to get Cam Walker to come up with me here on the stage, and we're going to do our best Penn and Teller presentation. One of us is going to fill the other up with a hot air helium bag, and well, I'll let you decide which one of us has the most hot air, but I'm not sure. All right. Parks and Rec currently coordinates approximately 20 major annual special events in Bootleg Canyon and various parks throughout Boulder City. In 2015, some of these events included the Chamber of Commerce's Spring Jamboree, Sunrise Rotary Worst Fest Car Show and Auction, Rotary Club's Best Damn Barbecue, Boulder City Hospital Foundation's Art in the Park, Interbike and various dog shows, mountain bike races, triathlons, road races, baseball tournaments, weddings, and festivals. We've already recognized the Rotary a little bit, but anyone here from Rotary, please stand, as well as the Chamber and the Hospital Foundation. Thank you for doing that for our community. We appreciate it. Thank you. Boulder City Pool remained busy with nearly 55,000 patrons last year. The Toddler Learn to Swim program continues to be a popular program. Recent grants from the International Code Council and our own Copper Mountain Solar and Boulder City Sunrise Rotary Club have allowed this program to be offered free of charge. To date, more than 400 toddlers have participated in this worthwhile program. Do we have anyone here from Copper Mountain Solar tonight? Please stand if you're here so we can recognize you. And again, the Sunrise Rotary doesn't need to stand again, but they're part of it. You're doing a lot. It continues to be an important goal of the Parks and Rec Department to upgrade recreation facilities as funding becomes available. In 2015, that included resurfacing 6 tennis courts, upgrading playground equipment and restrooms, and renovating the floor in the old gym. I would like to recognize Parks and Rec Director Roger Hall and any other Parks and Rec staff that may be present. Roger has been doing this since forever ago when I was a kid, and we're all so grateful that he and his staff continue to work so hard to provide these wonderful programs for us and our kids. Roger's going to come out from behind the curtain like the Wizard of Oz here. Thank you, Roger. The fire department continues to make Boulder City a safe place for residents and visitors to live, work, and play. During the past year, the fire department maintained a strong reserve firefighter program, updated emergency response procedures, purchased various response equipment, and participated in several training events designed to address the ever-changing threats that our community faces. In response to Chief Kevin Nicholson's challenge, I recently completed what I refer to as emergency response basic training. This was an online course designed to give a primer on the National Incident Management System, or NIMS, and the role that each of us should be ready to play in an emergency. I've also challenged the City Council and staff to complete their respective NIMS courses too, so that we can begin practicing updated emergency response procedures this coming year. I was a Boy Scout, so I firmly believe in the Scout motto, be prepared. And I also believe that it applies to all of us, not just 12-year-olds in green shirts. If we have any of our firefighters here tonight, please stand so we can recognize you for the great job that you do 24/7, 365 days a year for us. Thank you. Actually, this year it's 366 days, right? It's leap year, so don't short us on that one day of safety we need. That's important for us. We really appreciate everything you do. At the beginning of 2015, we still had several major solar sites that although under lease, remained undeveloped, with little hope of securing power purchase agreements. Furthermore, the federal investment tax credit, a major incentive for solar companies, was originally scheduled to expire at the end of 2016, with earlier deadlines looming. The combination of those two factors could have spelled disaster for our struggling tenants and a substantial amount of lost revenue for the city if they walked away from their leases. It's not too hard to imagine then why 2015 began with a serious sense of urgency to find ways to salvage those projects. Now, a year later, I'm very happy to report that thanks to our hardworking staff and some newfound partners, these once ailing projects are not only no longer on life support, but are actually thriving. In fact, 2 of those sites are now under construction. And the third one has a power purchase agreement, which likely means construction this year in 2016. Additionally, we approved new areas near Dutchman's Pass for potential solar development and identified one site that will likely go to RFP this year. Our renegotiation of the Comipo and Coepo solar leases early in 2015 brought in $10 million in unrestricted funds. Using these funds, we were able to pay off the general fund debt in its entirety, including the Boulder Creek Golf Club bonds. So the golf course that's hosting our event tonight is now debt-free, and that is a very big deal to us. Later in the year, we approved the assignment of the Comipo lease to SunPower, which is currently constructing a 100-megawatt solar project to serve NV Energy customers, with another NV Energy project in the works for Apple. In total, SunPower projects are projected to bring the city $1.3 million annually. We also approved the assignment of the Coepo solar lease to Skylar Energy. As part of the assignment, Skylar agreed to build an electric substation that will not only serve its own project, but also provide a substantial amount of power to the new US 95 I-11 interchange area, saving the city an estimated $6 to $10 million in infrastructure costs for future development there. 2015 saw our friends at Sempra Energy complete their third solar project in El Dorado Valley and initiate their fourth. And we expect the fifth and the sixth and the seventh in the future. Their latest project is a 120 megawatt facility that uses dual tracking technology to track the sun across the sky, Once completed, this lease is projected to generate over $1 million annually for the city. In total, we broke ground on over 1,200 acres of new solar fields in 2015, which will bring the city approximately $1.9 million annually. That means the city's revenue from solar leases should soon be over $10 million per year. With the federal government's recent 3-year extension of the investment tax credit to benefit renewable energy projects, the city is in good position to continue developing our nationally renowned El Dorado Valley Energy Corridor. If we have any representatives here tonight from Sempra or Skylar or SunPower or any of our other solar energy companies, would you please stand so we can recognize you? I don't remember seeing anybody, but oh, in the back right there, thank you. Many of these companies also give back to the city and our local nonprofits in other quiet but very meaningful ways. And we want them to know how thankful we are for their generosity. We consider them an integral part of our community, even though they're somewhat hidden down in the valley, and prefer to do much of the good that they do anonymously. While the economy has stabilized somewhat in many ways, that recovery has been slow, and governments everywhere are still feeling the effects of the recession. However, the city has been and remains committed to building a strong fiscal foundation. In 2011, we adopted a financial plan that focused on 3 main goals. First, debt reduction. Second, restoring capital reserves in both the general fund and the utility fund. And number 3, rate stabilization. Please indulge me for a moment while I report on our remarkable progress towards each of these 3 goals. First, debt reduction. This is the one that gives me the most satisfaction of all. Did I mention that the city paid off the Boulder Creek Golf Course debt? Well, it's worth mentioning again, and I can't tell you how thrilled I am to report that last May the city paid off the revenue bond debt that was incurred many years ago to help construct the Boulder Creek Golf Course. And in July, we paid off the interfund loan, which was also borrowed for that purpose. So Boulder Creek, this golf course right here, is at long last debt-free. For many years before I ever even thought about running for city council, Boulder Creek created what seemed to me to be an endless stream of controversy. So it's extremely gratifying for all of us to have this chapter finally closed and behind us now. And you know, I never thought I'd be standing on a golf course so happy to be out of the hole. But I am. Apart from the golf course, the fact that the general fund is also debt-free is very significant in its own right. This has allowed us to refocus our attention on capital improvement, maintenance, and repair projects that have been neglected for years. These capital projects have been one of my major points of emphasis over the last 4.5 years on city council and now as mayor. Even before these debts were paid, I, with the city council's backing, repeatedly insisted that we establish a long-term capital improvement plan, looking into the future more than one budget cycle at a time. And city staff has done an excellent job following through on those requests. In fact, they're probably sick of hearing me say it over and over and over again. But it's a broken record, but it's worth saying. It's important. Now, thanks to our debt-free general fund, we have been able to establish a capital improvement program that seeks to reallocate up to $2 million annually from the general fund for capital projects. I would like to have our finance director, Shirley Hughes, stand, as well as any other representatives of the finance department. Thank you, Shirley. And I'd also like to have our fire chief, Kevin Nicholson, stand if he would. Shirley and her team do a great job of keeping us fiscally responsible. Yeah, you can clap. Of keeping us fiscally responsible and always focused on our financial plan goals. She's constantly saying, no, 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 when we come up with our grandiose ideas about the latest and greatest cool thing that the city just can't live without. Which is really no fun at all, Shirley. But of course, we know it's right and we love you for it. And I need to single out Chief Nicholson tonight as well. I'm not sure what business the fire chief has coming up with brilliant financial ideas. But he's the one who first saw the value of taking a portion of the $10 million we received from renegotiating these solar leases and using it to pay off the Boulder Creek Golf Course interfund loan. That supplied approximately $3.5 million to the utility fund and freed up a substantial amount of general fund debt service money that can now be used for other purposes. More important, he was actually willing to go out on a limb and suggest it. So he deserves a lot of credit for thinking outside the box, taking a stand, and being a team player when he could have kept quiet and nobody would have noticed. Thanks for letting me pick on you a little bit tonight, Kevin, and embarrass you. You really deserve it, though. These folks all deserve a big hand for the contributions they make day in and day out to our city. Only 2 city debts now remain, both in the utility fund. One consists of the revenue bonds for the raw water line, and the other is a debt to the Southern Nevada Water Authority for our allocated share of the third straw intake at Lake Mead. The debt on the third intake is scheduled to be paid in full in fiscal year 2017. That's 3 years early due to accelerated debt payments that we committed to the city's debt reduction plan. Although payoff of the third intake will be a major achievement, it won't provide additional monies to the utility fund since that debt is being paid from the capital improvement fund pursuant to voter approval in 2007. But it will free up money in the capital improvement fund for other capital needs such as aging utility infrastructure or city facilities badly in need of repair or replacement. Next, capital reserves. Capital reserve accounts were established in both the utility fund and general fund as part of the city's financial planning. These reserves are important in order to address emergency needs, especially since the city is limited in its ability to incur debt in excess of $1 million without voter approval. A substation failure or even a single transformer failure could exceed this threshold, so the city must be prepared with emergency funds on hand. Combined, these reserve accounts have a balance of $1.7 million with a goal of $5 million, and we continue to make progress there. Finally, rate stabilization. Our utility fund rate stabilization reserve alleviates potential rate increases. For instance, when the Southern Nevada Water Authority implemented an infrastructure surcharge in 2014 to cover costs associated with various water projects, the city was able to use a portion of the rate stabilization reserves to offset the impact to our utility customers. The reserve account currently contains a balance of $736,000 with a goal of $2.5 million. In 2015, we completed $7.9 million in capital improvement projects, which furthers several of the city's strategic plan goals. Those include maintaining reliable water and electric services and upholding the city's image as clean, green Boulder City. These projects are way too numerous to mention here tonight, but many of them are shown there up on this video screen for you, and let me just focus on a few of them. After many years of postponed capital projects and unsuccessful attempts to get the school district's help, the City Council made it a priority last year to fund renovations at Wayland Ball Fields. Councilman Walker and I were particularly emphatic at last year's budget meeting that we needed to do this for our high school baseball team, regardless of outside help. The project almost got derailed anyway when all of the initial bids we received back far exceeded our budget. However, our Public Works Department was resourceful, electing to serve as general contractor itself rather than rebidding the project and risking further delays. Las Vegas Paving, one of our I-11 contractors, stepped up and graciously donated labor and equipment to help our staff remove the existing dugout structures, all at no cost to the city. Public Works staff also supported our local economy, working with a local metal fabrication shop to construct the dugout roofs. We even had the help of the high school baseball team, local Boy Scouts, and other citizens who volunteered to help DJ Reese, the coach's son, complete his Eagle Scout project by painting the dugouts and bleachers. Our landscape division then made major renovations to restore the field to near perfect playing condition. All of this was completed under budget and in ample time for the coming baseball season, thanks to the combined efforts of Public Works staff, our community, and Las Vegas Paving. And I also particularly want to just say that I was at that Eagle Scout project, and I just love going to those things and seeing the community come out and get behind projects like that. We've done that so many times over the years, and I thank DJ Reese for doing that for our community. In 2001, the city adopted a master plan for Bootleg Canyon and the River Mountains. One of the master plan's visions was to create a desert demonstration and interpretive educational area where people could learn about our native flora and fauna. Recently, we completed this project with remaining SNPLMA grant funds. This phase of improvements included installation of sculptures showcasing native Mojave Desert wildlife. 7 animal sculptures, a desert tortoise, Gila monster, horned lizard, jackrabbit, roadrunner, scorpion, and Mojave rattlesnake, now call Bootleg Canyon Park their permanent home. A paved trail circulates through the sculptures and winds its way up 1,700 feet to a vista point overlooking El Dorado Valley. A shaded picnic area also provides a nice rest stop and gathering place at the apex. Interpretive signs give background information to enhance each visitor's learning experience. With this final phase of improvements, Bootleg Canyon Park is now even more accessible and enjoyable than ever before. And if you haven't been up there, check it out. It's great. Through an interlocal funding agreement with NDOT, which takes advantage of federal CMAQ funds, the city receives reimbursement for certain transportation-related projects that improve air quality. $400,000 of those funds were used to replace city gas-powered vehicles with all-electric vehicles, including 8 Nissan Leafs. These cars each cost over $31,000 when purchased on the lot. However, thanks to a grant from NDOT, the city was able to attain them for less than $1,600 each. It's a good deal, huh? Wish we got that deal. These vehicles help conserve natural resources, improve air quality, and promote the city's clean green image. I would again like to thank and recognize Public Works Director Scott Hansen, Electric Utility Administrator Rory Dwyer, the entire Public Works Department and Electrical Division, and all of our maintenance crews, and many others who work so hard to keep our lights on, our AC units running, water in our pipes, our streets in usable condition, and our homes and lives protected from Mother Nature. Scott and Rory, would you guys please stand so we can give you a round of applause? Thank you. Although I don't think he's here tonight, I'd like to thank Clark County Regional Flood Control District and General Manager Steve Parrish for all the support and funding that they provided for many flood control projects over these past many years, including the $4.5 million Buchanan Boulevard project that's been under construction recently. And the same that I've said there is true of NDOT. They're great partners with the city. Thank you. The airport drainage improvements have been tested by this past year's weather and have proven beneficial with only minimal maintenance required. This is excellent news as we continue installing more storm drains and cement channels. With the assistance of $2.1 million in federal grants, we were able to give one of our runways a facelift in 2015, including a full slurry sealing treatment. We also began the 18-month process of updating the airport's master plan. Passenger enplanements continue to rise. And of the 11 airports in Nevada, ours is the 3rd busiest airport processing passengers. Think of that. Only McCarran Airport and Reno Tahoe Airport, these international airports, are busier than ours. Not Henderson Executive or even North Las Vegas's airports rival ours. In fact, not by a long shot. Our airport's tour companies continue to grow their fleets and now have over 55 aircraft combined. And I want to extend a thanks to Airport Manager Carrie Ahern and her staff for their hard work managing the ever-growing operations there. It's a big task, and it's an often thankless one. I don't think I saw Carrie, but let's give her a round of applause. Carrie, if you're here, go ahead and stand up. Approximately 3 years ago, the city implemented a new and significantly improved single-stream recycling program when we modified and extended our contract with long-term landfill operator Waste Logistics. Because of the deal we struck, the city and Waste Logistics were able to provide this program at no cost to our ratepayers. Commercial recycling participation is now approximately 90%, double what it was when the program began. A key factor in the high participation rates is the convenience of the single stream program, which allows customers to place all of their recyclable materials in one container rather than having to sort through and segregate them. Since the program's inception, 14 million pounds of waste that would otherwise fill up our landfill have been recycled instead, adding valuable years of life to this important city asset. Another means that the city has recently employed to extend our landfill's life is expansion of the permitted boundaries. In 2012, the Health District approved our application for a lateral expansion, adding more than 30 years to the landfill's estimated life. However, the decades fly by quickly. If we aren't proactive, the landfill will reach capacity before we know it, leaving us with no alternative other than to ship our waste elsewhere, potentially costing us millions each year. Accordingly, at my repeated urging, we are currently pursuing another application for expansion, this time both vertical and lateral. Preliminary indications from the Health District are that we can qualify for expansion without a liner, saving us between $20 million and $40 million. If approved, the vertical and lateral expansion will add an estimated 65 years or more of additional life to our landfill, taking us well into the 22nd century. We are on track to make our next submittal to the Health District this coming summer. I would like to extend my personal appreciation once again to the Public Works Department and to Dr. Joe Iser and his environmental health staff at the Health District, as well as to Waste Logistics owner Steve Kalish, Landfill General Manager Robert Martello, consultants Jim Ferentz and Mike Piscini, and the rest of the Waste Logistics BC disposal team. Dr. Iser called to express his regrets that he couldn't be here tonight, and I don't think Mr. Kalish is here either. But I saw Robert and Mike here earlier, so if you could stand so we could recognize you, I'd appreciate that. Thank you very much. We're grateful for all you do for our community. Okay, so that's enough trash talk for now, right? The city is not the only organization busy with improvements and preserving our valuable resources. We are proud of our partnership with the Boulder City Museum and Historical Association, a local nonprofit which preserves the historic Boulder Dam Hotel and operates the Boulder City Hoover Dam Museum. BCMHA continued to strengthen its financial position last year, reducing its debt by an additional $40,000. The museum also increased its annual visitors to over 20,000 and was the beneficiary of over 1,000 hours of volunteer labor. The hotel's roof is currently in the process of being replaced through an in-kind donation by local developer Randy Shams. And last year, local philanthropists Michael and Teresa Giroux donated labor, equipment, and materials valued at nearly $100,000 to renovate the exterior of the hotel. In fact, we honored the Giroux last month with the coveted Bill Andrews Award, which singles out individuals who give back to our community in a big way. And I didn't see the Giroux here tonight either, but I just want to say they do so many other things for the community. They were so involved in they're in many nonprofit boards. Last year they spearheaded an effort to get the atrium done at the hospital, and they assisted with our Friends of Boulder City Police fundraising event, and they're just always doing things for the community, so we really appreciate them. In addition to the exterior repairs, interior upgrades were made to the museum's permanent exhibit as well. The museum is also busy working on big plans to unveil an Old Town walking tour this coming spring using on-sale technology. The tour will highlight some of the important buildings and park in our historic downtown and undoubtedly be a boon to our local economy. This year we said goodbye to one of our local organizations that helps transform our historic downtown area and honor our ties to the construction of Hoover Dam. Boulder City Public Artscape began in 2006 and was the brainchild of Darlene and Vern Burke, longtime community benefactors and art enthusiasts who wanted to share their passion of art with the public. Due to the hard work of volunteers and the generous financial support of many donors, 32 sculptures valued at over $250,000 were donated to the city during the past decade. I would like to recognize former city manager Vicki Mays, whose leadership and support was instrumental in this program. And I want to express my sincere appreciation to Vern and Darlene Burke, who unfortunately weren't able to be here tonight. I didn't see Vicki either, but is she here? Thank you, Vicki. And this just shows you what Vern and Darlene are like. They sent me a personal card with their regrets that they couldn't be here tonight. And we didn't ask them to be here for a special reason, but that's just the kind of people they are. They're always so gracious in the way they approach everything. Several years have passed since voters approved the initial residential land sale around Boulder Creek Golf Club. 45 acres were approved in 2010 and an additional 29 acres in 2014. Because the real estate market still wasn't very favorable back then, the city has been waiting for the market to recover before pursuing these voter-approved sales. Now we are finally moving forward. Last fall, the city held several hearings and rezoned the land for a variety of lot sizes ranging between 1/5 of an acre to 1/3 of an acre. This spring, we plan to develop standards for subdivision development and subsequently issue a request for development proposals. Proceeds from the golf course land sales will be used to fund public safety capital needs, as well as improvements to the city's aging utility infrastructure. On December 12th, Boulder City joined with Aerodrome to announce the world's first drone port. This 50-acre facility was built at the site of the old motocross track near the dry lake bed. It will be used mainly to educate commercial users of unmanned aerial systems, commonly known as UASs or drones. This facility will be home to leading industry experts with unparalleled experience in the UAS field and is currently slated to be used for small UASs 55 pounds or less. In addition to a terminal and ground control tower, the facility will provide classrooms for pilot instruction, a mechanic shop, and training facilities. The drone port will offer training, pilot certification and testing, and a variety of other educational, research, and development services. While the target market is commercial drone community, the facility will also offer drone racing competitions and teach hobbyists how to safely use their aircrafts. Speaking of droning, you're probably happy to know that my address is nearly complete. But not quite yet, though. I want to finish with my mayor's vision for the immediate future and shift gears here a little bit from what we've accomplished to what's coming up, some of our challenges and things like that. My vision statement has 5 elements. Number 1, family and faith first. Number 2, be business friendly. Number 3, crystal clear communication. Number 4, keeping our financial house in order. And number 5, pick up the pace. Number 1 is family and faith first. And speaking of faith, I was recently asked to speak at the Southern Nevada Mayor's Prayer Breakfast, only to find out that I was voted by the local religious leaders as the mayor most in need of their prayers. Yeah, sorry. Seriously though, I'm not going to say much about this tonight, but I wanted to put this first because it's the most important element of my vision for Boulder City. In short, all of our decisions need to put faith and family first. Nothing else matters if we don't have these in our individual lives and in our community. The number 1 reason that most of us move to Boulder City or stay here is because it's a great place to raise a family. In fact, a few years ago, Family Circle magazine named us one of the top 10 places in the nation to raise a family. And as I look out around here tonight and every day when I'm out among you, I can't help but think how blessed we are to live with and associate with each other and all the other good families of Boulder City. I likewise feel so blessed when the priests and pastors and lay people from the different churches and the different faith-based organizations come and pray for us in our community at the commencement of every council meeting. And when I see how your faith brings you together to create food pantries for the needy or to volunteer for nonprofits like Emergency Aid and Lend a Hand, or to perform the many other acts of kindness and service that you do, I'm constantly amazed and very humbled. So we need to frequently remind ourselves to put family and faith front and center in all that we do. Second, be business friendly. And I apologize in advance, but this one's a long one. But a wise person once said, "You can shear a sheep 1,000 times, but you can only skin it once." Think about that. One of my old Southern clients used to remind me of that little statement quite often. And you know, businesses are an awful lot like sheep in that way. If representatives of prospective businesses are interested in coming to Boulder City, and we treat them like they're outsiders, like we're doing them a favor, placing unwieldy conditions and legal roadblocks and code provisions in their way, exacting up front every dollar and every offsite improvement we can get out of them all at once, using language that belittles their efforts or suggests that we're right and they're wrong, then it probably won't surprise you that they're going to be very inclined to take their business elsewhere. And even if they take the risk and stay, they're not going to keep giving back to us. If we skin them alive, what do we expect? They won't be successful and won't have the ability to give back even if they want to. On the other hand, if we treat them like partners, like teammates, like friends and fellow citizens, giving them the benefit of every doubt, talking to them with respect, listening with empathy to their concerns, focusing on solutions rather than problems, and yes, even asking them to participate financially with us in long-term, mutually beneficial, win-win ways, then it also won't surprise you that they're going to be anxious to call Boulder City home and to do everything in their power to become a fixture here that keeps giving back to us over and over and over again for years to come. And of course, the same is true of existing businesses, whether they're coming to us with plans for expansion or merely seeking to make ends meet, whether they're continually trying to reinvent themselves or simply relying on their tried and true methods of doing business while others change around them. So, in case it's not clear, my message to my fellow city council members and to city staff is this. If and to the extent that the slaughterhouse is still open, we need to close it today and replace it with a barber shop. The butcher mentality has to cease now. We need to eliminate the attitude that we're doing businesses, nonprofits, and the citizens of Boulder City a favor. Ours is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The government isn't the city council, or the city staff, or the police, or any other public officials. It's we the people. So let's start treating them like it's their government, not ours. Furthermore, laws were made for us, not the other way around. They're there to help us succeed, not to impede our progress. So let's view them that way. That's probably going to require a big paradigm shift for some city employees, and maybe some council members too. It means changing our vocabulary, avoiding the words no and can't, and replacing them with yes and can do. Sometimes a qualified yes if or yes but to be sure, but still a resounding yes. It means embracing the mentality that the customer is always right, even if technically we might know that they're wrong. It means that we're here to serve our customers, not the other way around. It means that we provide options, solutions, and assistance, not obstacles. It means becoming problem solvers, not problem makers. And it means we firmly believe we're community partners. Partially in response to my own expressed concerns about the slaughterhouse mentality and partially on their own initiative, I know this paradigm shift training has already begun in the building and planning divisions and the rest of the community development department. So I do want to thank Community Development Director Brock Armentrout and City Manager Dave Frazier for that. And Brock is running the slideshow tonight, so he can just wave. Thank you. That's a big step in the right direction, but we can't become complacent about it. What I'm talking about is a major cultural change in the way we do business in the city, or at the city. And to me, it's a serious enough issue that I'm going to see to it that it happens or die trying. Hopefully not literally. But. Now, lest you think I'm harping on city staff alone, let me say a word to the business community. Businesses, let's stop being territorial. A house divided against itself cannot stand. We succeed together, not alone. Who in their right mind would want to visit our city if we only had one hotel, or one restaurant, or, God forbid, one grocery store? Right? Or one anything. Businesses, if you for 1 second think you're going to succeed in Boulder City by monopolizing the market and stamping out your competitors, then think again. Sure, you might prosper in the short run, but Boulder City would dry up and go away in a heartbeat if we didn't have lots of great choices and diversity. Nobody would come here. So let's stop being territorial, find common ground, and seek out better ways to work together. If we do, then I promise that all of our businesses will prosper together, because we're either going to rise together or we're going to fall together, and it's up to us to choose which one we prefer. Others don't have to fail for us to succeed. In fact, quite to the contrary. Collectively, we control our own destiny, so I urge all of us to band together starting right now, this very moment. I'd also like to thank our business consultants, Larry Bender and Mike Majewski, and the entire Economic Vitality Commission for their help with business retention and development, and their commitment to help us create a more business-friendly environment in Boulder City. EVC members, would you please stand up and be recognized? I know I saw Jill, and there's Brett in the back, Jill Legan, and Kendra Wright is also on the EVC. Third is crystal clear communication. This is another issue that I've been harping on over the last 4 years. I recognize that it's always going to be a challenge for a municipality like ours to communicate efficiently, effectively, and proactively, both internally among staff and council, and externally to keep our citizens, nonprofits, and businesses informed and engaged. Nevertheless, in this information age, it's critical that we keep finding better and better ways to do so. Otherwise, people will fill the void with their own false assumptions, get frustrated with the lack of information and associated unpredictability, act in uninformed ways based on ignorance rather than knowledge, and sometimes even try to rewrite history to fit their own worldview and perception of reality. We certainly can't control all of that, and wouldn't want to, and will never be perfect communicators. But we as the administrators and representatives of Boulder City government need to be much, much better at it. We need to proactively tell our own story, not be reactionary. We need to regularly get the message out to our citizens, including not just the challenges and periodic setbacks which we face, which we do, but also all of the positive steps we're taking and the good things we do every day. It's not going to be easy. It will require lots of careful planning, dedication of resources, vigilance, and hard work, but it's a must. We'll need to take better advantage of social media to accomplish this. And I'm asking the Boulder City Review to cooperate by making its pages more accessible and available to us to get the word out. The good people of Boulder City want better information about what's happening in their local government, and they deserve to know it. Finally, all of us need to elevate our dialogue to a higher level. Incivility, name-calling, smear campaigns, potshots, put-downs, innuendo, and disparaging remarks are never acceptable. In fact, they're counterproductive and only serve to veil the truth and impede progress. Ridding our city of that kind of communication was priority number one for me when I was elected to City Council in 2011. And I believe also Councilwoman Peggy Levitt at the time. And I and the rest of us remain committed to that. It's so important. Fourth, keeping our financial house in order. Boulder City has weathered the financial storm over the last 7+ years better than most Nevada municipalities. We're proud that our general fund is debt-free and that our remaining utility fund debts are still scheduled to be paid off early. That has required careful planning and serious sacrifice on everyone's part. But we're not out of the woods just yet. Repair and replacement of our aging utility infrastructure will cost at least $25 million over the next 5 to 10 years. Neglected city facilities and other capital needs will demand similar funding. The passage of recent ballot questions allowing the city to fund some of those projects with golf course land sale proceeds and capital improvement fund monies as they become available will certainly help. But quite honestly, they'll barely make a dent. And those projects don't even include things on our wish list like a new aquatics facility, which could easily cost another $20 million or more. Plus, we've kept utility rates so low for so long that our utility fund is in serious jeopardy and no longer sustainable at those rates. And on top of that, the Water Authority recently assessed another $28 million or so to the city as its share of the third intake pumping station at Lake Mead. Now, we were able to renegotiate payment of that assessment in the form of an incremental surcharge passed through to the ratepayers over time, which is good, but it's still a burden on our citizens and money that our own utility fund will never see. So when you add up all of this, it's easy to see how we quickly arrive at $75 million to $100 million or more that the city needs to come up with in the near future. So that begs the question, where will that money come from? And of course, I don't have all the answers for you here tonight, but I do know this, however, that it's not going to just magically appear. That's one of our big challenges in the coming years. It's going to require more careful planning, creative thinking, sacrifice, and yes, probably even utility rate increases. But I'm confident that if we stay the course and follow sound financial principles, we'll be okay. Those principles include continuing to live within our means, saving for a rainy day, fostering self-reliance and providing resources to our citizens, taking care of our own, especially the elderly and the needy, and giving back to the community in meaningful ways. And my fifth and final admonition is that we need to pick up the pace and get out in front of these challenges. The current pace with which we are moving isn't nearly quick enough. I-11 will be here in the blink of an eye. Potential revenue generating opportunities will come and go if we're not ready for them. It's essential that we expedite our internal processes. None of us can do it alone. For instance, City Council needs to empower the city manager by giving him specific tasks and providing the necessary resources to get the job done. Then hold him accountable. The city manager needs to empower department heads, providing the necessary tools, and similarly hold them accountable. Department heads need to empower those under their supervision and hold them accountable, and so on. We need to trust that those under our stewardship will do the job and do it well, even if it's not exactly the way that we would do it ourselves. We need to let go a little bit and be willing to delegate more responsibility, and then follow up and hold those that we have empowered accountable. Collectively, we can lengthen our stride and ramp up to the speed that we need to operate at if we're going to get on top of the many challenges and opportunities that the future holds for us. Together, I am very confident that we can be successful. So, that was a long speech, but we've come to the end, and I just want to thank you so much for coming here to celebrate with us the many successes we have in Boulder City, because we do have many, many successes, and sometimes you don't hear about that. But we have many challenges as well, and we have lots of hardworking people here, and what a great community that we live in. I'm so thankful to live here and just shake each one of your hands every day. That's why I'm here. That's why we're all here. And so, and thank you for giving me and the council members a vote of confidence. You do that often, and you know, sometimes it's disheartening when you're working hard and it seems like you're taking 2 steps back and then 3 steps forward and 2 steps back again. But when you do that for us, I want you to know it makes a big, big difference to us. It gives us the strength to say, you know what, this is worth it. And so, thank you everybody for coming tonight.